Yeah, well, that shoe's gone. I guess we'll never know what that was about. So, yes, good. Roach Valley Way. So, morning all, I'm Tim, and this is How to Murder Feet, a instructional series of videos about how to put one foot in front of another for quite a long time. And I am on ECP still, just a little yellow sign back there, also on the Roach Valley Way or Roach Valley Path. We're following the River Roach, which is just over there. We're on the north bank of it now. I remember I was on the south bank of it last time. That's how these things work. Well, they are. That's how they work if you're going north, I suppose. But yeah, this is a Sunday the 1st of October. It's about 10:36, 20 degrees or so. Surprisingly warm and mild for October. It's supposed to be autumn, but the trees don't know that yet, so shh. Yeah, we haven't had a significantly sharp frost to start the whole leaf dropping process, although some of them are starting to go a bit brown over there. But I think I get caught out every year as I look back through my videos how late autumn really comes, you know, these days. I don't know that's necessarily climate change or anything like that. Probably that's a part of it, but I think it always just comes later than I think. Anyway, today we're going that way to rejoin the River Roach and ultimately zigzag and loop around a whole bunch of estuary rivers. Still working our way around Foulness Island. Coming back up the north side of the Roach, and then we're going to rejoin another river, I think. We're going to one called Wallasea Island, basically, a place called Wallasea Island, which I'm going to loop, and then from there, my original camping week, which this was supposed to have been, this is more or less day 2 of that, theoretically. I was going to get a ferry to Burnham-on-Crouch and thus avoid a whole 1 day, basically 2-day inland and back detour across the River Crouch, which will join at the end, maybe at Wallasea. Anyway, it's a Sunday and we're starting to get a bit north of civilization now. We're still only about 5 or 6 miles north of Southend-on-Sea, but at this point we're starting to run into the fact that on Sundays there's basically no buses here. I mean, I think they got very limited bus service during the week for school runs and stuff and these little villages to the north of here, but pretty much from here all the way to Malden, which was going to be the end of my originally planned camping week, there's no public transport on a Sunday. So I'm now, today, in fact, I parked the car that way about a mile in Rochford, pretty much where I left it last time actually. And I'm basically going to go that way, do a big old loop and then come back via some roads after I've finished my bit of actual coast path and just walk back to the car. So in a way, swings and roundabouts, it means I don't have to worry about getting to Southend or Rochford in time to catch a bus or a train for linkages and whatnot, but I still left the same sort of time and got up the same sort of time because I need the day, because the daylight's getting a bit shorter. Regular viewers of last week's video will remember that I basically got to the car just as the sun was setting, pretty much bang on sunset around 7 o'clock, and I thought that was late, and I didn't think I'd started very early. Yeah, it started very late, so, but no, it turns out that actually, well, 2 things. One, I measured wrong and actually did 21 miles when I thought I was going to be doing 15. So basic numeracy fail there, but also, yeah, it's October now. The nights are going to start drawing in. I mean, at the end of October the clocks change, so you know we've got 4 more weeks, 4 more Sundays of this, and then boom, we literally just suddenly lose a whole another hour before sunset. You know, we'll literally get an hour darker sooner. So yeah, gonna have to crack on and get on with it. So anyway, there we go. Yeah, chat walking his dog there, interrupting my monologuing. That's no good. Here we go, this is interesting. So this is a cricket pitch there, village green, a little bit of recreation ground sort of thing for Rochford. And this massive pile of hedge cuttings and pallets. Yes, well, bonfire night coming. I mean, my plan for these weekends, I think, will put me in Rochford in Malden on bonfire night. So we'll see some fireworks, maybe that later in the week. But yeah. This is the yearly commemoration of a failed coup on the government about, I don't know, years ago. 1600s, I think. I don't know, everyone celebrates. I think bonfire night's become over-commercialised. No one really celebrates the true spirit of gunpowder-based insurrection against law and order. But yes, everyone in the village will be piling up their stuff, set fire to that on November the 5th, which is, yeah, about a month away at the moment. So yeah, today's a loop trip, so that means I'm only going to do about 8 miles or so I've been very careful to measure things well today, but yes, I've only got about 8 miles of actual path, and then I'm going to have to just use 7 miles or so to get back to the car via local country lanes and things. So yeah, here we go. Essex, land of 3 scimitars. I'm not quite sure why. There's probably some history. Roach Valley Way, now that's deceptive, because that doesn't actually go where I want as far as I can tell on the maps. At some point the ECP will split from that. Anyway, great. We're outside of that. Does that mean I'm allowed access outside of those times? I'm getting in trouble. I'm going to stick to the path anyway. I think mostly that's just to discourage sightseers from Potton Island, which is over there, and Foulness, which I think is just beyond, both kinetic MOD facilities that do not allow casual public access. Well, I came from over there. There's only one path. I'm going to follow the Roach Valley Way for a bit, but yeah, the Roach Valley Way apparently does split off from where I want to go, so I need to watch out for where that diverges. Highlights of today include the last resting place of HMS Beagle. I'll look that up and try and point a camera at it when we get there, but according to Wikipedia and a map pin I saw on Google, somewhere along one of these mudflat estuaries banks along the side where we're going to pass today is the last resting place of the ship that Charles Darwin was medical officer, science officer aboard during his voyage to the Galapagos Islands, where he studied all sorts of birds and discovered various clues to the theory of evolution by natural selection, which posits that we're all monkeys, really. I could believe it. So yes, first we have to get to the river, which I think might just be the end of here. That's okay. Good. But yeah, it's loop trips today. I'm going to be doing probably somewhere around nearly twice as much mileage as I'll actually show you. So possibly a short episode, but then I always say that. So I made it back to the river. So there's that big old boatyard we were yomping past late last Sunday into the woods over there. Came for all along that far side. Basically, we just got to do this entire walk again, but on the north bank, going the other way. It's fine. Here's what it is. Yeah, I mean, in general, this is probably about as bad as it gets in terms of crinkly coastlines. I think once I get to around Great Yarmouth kind of way, it's broadly straight most of the way up to Berwick from there, apart from, you know, a few big things like the Humber, where there are proper bridges and stuff. But, yeah, just this particular part of the Essex coastline is just a zigzaggy nightmare, really, that, you know, one foot in front of the other, get on with it. So I found all this, which is good, and I found this as well, which is charming. Look, someone's got a little waterproof box. They've produced a series of instructional local guides, probably using MS Paint. Hospitality, look, guides to where the defibrillator, always keep to the paths, wear suitable clothing, yes. This is probably my 3rd rodeo, I don't know, I lose track of rodeos. But look, I can just look, they've even done this charming hand-drawn map here. I mean, I've got my Ordnance Survey and a variety of phone apps as well, but yeah, I mean, I'm not going to be doing much of that, but the path along the south is useful, so we're just going to keep going all the way off to the end, really. So there's the Barton Hall Creek to go around, but it's not too bad of a detour. Yeah, I'm not going to take this. I'm going to leave it for other hikers, because I've got enough paraphernalia and guides and whatnot with me. So sticking that back in this little box. There's 5 leaflets in there that some helpful local has gone to some lengths to prepare and make available. It's great. I mean, you know, in general, I'm treated, I think, with indifference usually when I'm out and about on there. I mean, you know, there's the England Coast Path Initiative itself, you know, signage, and that's all part of the National Trails, which is part of the Department of, I don't know, Rural Affairs or something, or some registered charity or another offshoot of English Heritage or the National Trust. I don't know. I'm not sure who's responsible for the England Coast Path. National Trails is the website, and they take care of the South West Coast Path and all the others as well. But I think that is a government thing. But on the ground, you know, mostly all I see is private keep out signs from angry farmers telling me I ought to keep to the path and nowhere else. So it's nice to get some kind of welcoming, yeah, here, come and explore our land, you know. It's good. Let's stop for a slow pan. It's quite flat around here. Fair bit of agriculture and the ever-present sea defences. Tidal walls, they take on a more earthen rural character out here. Not so much the concrete walls. But yes, this whole land is very near sea level. I mean, I can see some hills to the north, so it must undulate a bit. It's not just one massive coastal floodplain all the way up to Yorkshire. I mean, it's still about, yeah, I'd say probably about 10 miles inland at the moment, up this river, the Roch in particular. Yeah, settling into a good yomping stride there. It's clouded over, sun's gone away a bit, but I've been informed it's not going to be any worse than this weather-wise. It's kind of grey all day. It's about 20 degrees. It was according to my car when I got out of it. Something like that. Anyway, I have to take my merino underlayer off and stick it in the bag, just to maintain a good temperature today. I don't mind if it rains. I've got all the gear, my full waterproof outer layer, anorak leggings, gaiters, etc. I'd rather it didn't rain though. It's always nicer when you're not, you know, stomping through the pounding vertical onslaught. Quite muddy as well. Slippery perhaps. But yeah, you know, warm dry car to drive home in, warm flat to spend the night in. And I'd also remember to bring a towel in a carrier bag today as well in the back seat, just in case. But yes, Met Office says no rain today, so that'll do me. Don't need the sun. In fact, sometimes it can be a bit of a burden, the sun, if it gets too big and hot and too near. Getting all up in my grill. Don't like that. Alright, so we're just going to zigzag gently along here. Look, horsies. Yeah. I'm trying to estimate how far I am from the centre of London at present. Probably about 40 miles or so. I don't know, maybe 30. And Southend, I mean, you can see, I think those tall blocks on the very horizon centre there are, that might be Southend Airport, parking and hotel and so on, but Southend is still very near. It's about 5 or 6 miles that way. So it's not wilderness, but at the same time I'm feeling a real countryside vibe now. Tilled ground, I mean, stuff's all ploughed ready for next year. All the crops are in, and now this is October. It's the waiting season. Get all your drilling done. Crops are in, next seeds are in. Look after the livestock now. Yeah, a bit of a breeze, but it's coming again. It's been quite consistently in the weeks I've been out here, coming from that way, which is from the southwest. So it's quite warm, quite dry. There's a bit of moisture. Yeah, it's all right there. It's nice, quite pleasant, keeping me nice and cool as I stomp on. Get a good speed going. But yeah, we've been hit by Storm Agnes. I think Wales and North and Scotland got the corner of it as it came bowling through, and that's the first named one of the years. That's that season of storms. So when they get big enough to get actual names. I think we might be between one at the moment, so that's good. Mind you, I find I'm more rugged and durable on a day hike than a week-long backpack trip, so I'd be more inclined to risk more adverse conditions than otherwise. If I've had the tent and everything, I had to stay out here for a solid week. But yeah. But as you can see, very flat around here. Some trees there, fair enough. But so I generally avoid actual thunderstorms if they're forecast on here. I have to just take a week off or whatever. I can be a bit more relaxed about it now. I've got until spring, you know, May, to reach Malden, which is probably about 10 miles that way, I think, but a bit more zigzagging and stuff. So I think I might be all right. Got enough Sundays in hand, certainly. May have to come up with another project for winter, just keep myself ticking over once I get to Malden. I don't want to just sit around on my arse for 6 months and then have some kind of episode when I try and put the backpack on again. Really not had much luck with the camping this year. Managed 2 nights in total for the whole year. That's pathetic, it really is. Yeah, because the first night out of Margate I ended up in the travel lodge because it was just, you know, 40-mile-an-hour winds coming straight off the sea and I couldn't find a camping site. So yeah, I did two nights out that way, near Margate sort of way, and then I had to jack that week in early, and then I've been day tripping ever since. Oh well, it is what it is. It should make no fundamental difference to you, dear viewer. I mean, you're just seeing a series of half an hour to an hour and a half episodes of a day's hiking. My sleeping arrangements are neither here nor there. And if I'm honest, I mean, I find the day tripping stuff, I mean, it's tiring because there's a lot of driving involved, but logistically it's a lot less hassle and stress. You don't have to, you know, don't have to panic a lot about where I'm going to put the tent up each night. But then, yeah, 5 hours of M25 driving each Sunday. It's not great for the environment, not great for my wear and tear. Do get back quite late. Still, this is my passion. This is my thing. This is what I do. What I do when I'm not doing the basics. You know, the going to work, the sleeping, the eating. This is what makes me me. So I will go to considerable lengths to keep achieving it. Basically, and we'll see. I mean, I keep saying that I'm getting too far away to do the day trip driving now, but here we are today. I think I was still only about 110, 120 miles of driving. About 2.5 hours in the end because of motorways and going round things, but straight line stuff. I think I'd draw the line if it turned out that I spent more time driving than hiking. You know, spent more time getting to and back from the hike than on the hike itself. That means it probably is too far away. But I mean, you know, Sundays dictate their own schedule, especially autumn Sundays when the clocks are going to change. So, we'll see. Anyway, I'm not worried about all that yet. Let's get to Malden, and then we'll worry about it in the spring. If, you know, wash out in spring. Yeah, spring's gonna be different though. I'm gonna basically not book, but pencil 2 weeks to do it in. And if the first week turns out to be an absolute nightmare weather-wise, I've still got enough time within that window within May to get the last week of May booked as holiday and go then instead probably. And if, you know, the 2 bad weeks in a row, well, I'll just take that as a sign. Anyway, here we go. More sweeping horizontality. Must be the Iowa of the United Kingdom, or is that further north? We've got quite a lot of this kind of terrain to go, to be honest. You know, 1,000 miles at least. Much of Suffolk and Norfolk are like this as well, apparently, and Lincolnshire. Not going to see any serious inspirational geography until probably, yeah, Yorkshire, I imagine. Well, that's all right. Yeah, I could always cheat over winter and go to Brecon anyway, you know. Or, oh no, it's called something else now, isn't it? Oh well, the park formerly known as the Brecon Beacons. But yeah, I can always just go there for a Sunday, you know. Don't have to keep doing this one each time. Once I get to Malden, I'm basically sitting on my hands until spring. So yeah, lots of other day trips, I suspect, to cleanse the palate. Right, let's crack on. There we go, this must be that creek we saw on the little hand-drawn map on the informational local leaflet. Barton's Creek or whatever. This one doesn't look too bad actually in my experience. I've done a lot of creeks in my time and this one does seem to be quite a minor inlet. Not much of a detour. End up on the other side over there by the trees. Carrying on up. You can see the hill in the background there, that's low hill in the back centre. One time zoom is I think that's that landfill bit we went round, where the corner of which is where I was theoretically going to put my tent that time. I'm not going to theoretically put my tent anywhere on today's stretch, so I think the actual stretch that I would have been doing on my proper camping week was encompassed all of that far side and all of this far side and some more of beyond of today as well, so you know. I know. I'm going to have to get an adult to help me with the measuring from now on. Right, let's yomp on around here. Not going to lie, the landscape's broadly similar for much of today, I think. But I'm still going to show you some of it and talk at you anyway, because you can't really stop me, I suppose. Well, I mean, you could certainly navigate away from this page anytime you like. I mean, I'm not implying there's a hostage situation going on here or anything. My God, that's got dark. Let's keep walking. Ah, here we go. So, yeah, we're coming inland a little bit. And Rich Valley Way goes off up there somewhere across the fields, whereas I think we go back to the river's edge. That's us. There's, yeah, options. It really smells as well. Don't know what that is. Seashells, I think. Anyway, yeah, so trying not to point at these cars so I don't look more suspicious than usual. And where they're all coming from, a shoot or something. Who knows? That time of year, people start bopping at pheasants. Yeah, these are huge piles of seashells, which do smell quite bad. Now, I don't know, do these serve some agricultural purpose? Or is this just somewhere to dump the dredging? I suppose if you pound them up, they are basically calcium. Is that good for the soil? I don't know if it's particularly chalky around here. No idea. But yeah, somebody's taken the effort to pile up a huge amount of, as far as I can tell, empty seashells. Although I suppose one or two might have still have glistening things in them. Yeah, I don't know. Something else to look up. Well, that's a nice one. Yeah, that's where all these cars are coming from. It's a bit in the middle of nowhere for a car boot sale. Don't know if there's any golf courses around. It does look like a purpose-built parking area that gets used often. Who knows? Oh, well, having lots of crops here. Farmland, still the River Roach there. I'm kind of sort of following it mostly along with this track. Yeah, I don't know what they're up to. It's a golf course? I thought I saw a golf course somewhere around here. Maybe that's a bit further up. Anyway, I'm going down here. And then getting confused because I can't see where the path goes next. I'll climb on this structure. They're very, very particular about their structures out here. Yeah. Oh yeah, post on a stick there. I think my path gets a bit long and unkempt now. Anyway, hopefully all the adders have given up and gone to bed for the year now. But I don't mind. I've kind of come to terms with the fact that adders might be out here, but that's fine, you know, because they're a lot more scared of me than I am of them, remarkably, and move quicker than I do. So unless there's one out there that's bruising for a fight, which apparently they don't really do, I'm all right. I was more worried about the whole tent thing. If I'm just lying there motionless and warm in the middle of the night, providing shelter from the rain with my tent canvas, maybe a snake might like that. I don't know. Anyway, onward. Yeah, still no clue what those folks are doing in that car park. I mean, here's a thing. Looks a little bit like a golf course, but it's just one hole and very straight. I don't know. Is it fishing? Is it a fight club? I don't know. Anyway, here we go, the river tide coming in, I think, or going out. It looks like it might be, I don't know. Looks wet enough to be going out, yeah. And I found another pillbox. Because those sneaky Nazis, they're not just going to try the Thames, clearly. They might have been trying some of the other smaller rivers and then walking to the Thames, you know. But no one was looking the other way, so here we are. Another concrete box, sat on the river. Not sure how deep this is. You'll probably see more of those as we get nearer the actual sea. I don't think we're seeing the sea today. We're going to find a junction to another river, basically. There'll be some sea, probably not next week either, the week after. Yeah, disappointing. Still, it's got to be done. This was always going to be a tricky part of the country, and it's not turning out to be too bad actually, but not quite the Cornish experience I was hoping for. Yeah, quite a way to go to get to Potton Island and Foulness on the far bank. Don't even know if there's any pubs on the way today. Maybe this afternoon and evening as I'm coming back to the car after I finish my bit of coast. We'll see. Yeah, know what that is. Something. Airstrip? Drones? I mean, I could just ask, I suppose. Oh, here we are. That's a good romp. Head down, mind everywhere else, and get the miles in. We're going about 2 hours now. I'm not even sure about how far I've come, to be honest, but we're definitely leaving civilization behind again, and the trees as well. They tend to be a bit further inland now. It's a bit exposed out on here. That's okay. The breeze is keeping me cool. It's quite a warm wind anyway. It's not chilling or anything. So I think that there might be the junction back down to the other bit we were on. So are we coming level with that? No, we've probably got to go to those buildings, I think, to be level with the tributary down there. So that's Potton Island then, that one over there on the back, and then beyond just see some things glinting on Foulness Island still. So yeah, good. Patio furniture, great. I'd have no trouble camping out here, I don't think. Well, apart from weather conditions and wind, it's very exposed, but in terms of finding quiet places no one's going to bother you, I think it's probably fine. Much of along here. Not very widely travelled. Yeah, I just don't have the payload to be able to pick that up and take it to a bin, unfortunately, so it's just going to have to remain. A stern indictment of our throwaway plastic society. Apparently, as of today, was it 1st October today? It is. Apparently as of today, a whole load of single-use plastics are now banned in the UK from... It's all very confusing though, it's a very specific list, like those long sticks that balloons come on, not allowed to use those anymore. Plastic knives and forks in fish and chip shops and similar places, not allowed to do that. There's all sorts of weird rules about what you can do with packaging. I mean, if you have to prepare the food further, it's still allowed to be in plastics, like raw chicken or whatever. If it's just, but I think that includes a microwave. So if it's a ready meal and you have to microwave it, you are allowed to still put it in single-use plastic to sell it. If it's like fish and chips or something, you're not allowed to put that in it, or Chinese takeaway. If it's food intended for immediate consumption with no further preparation, you're not allowed to do single-use plastic. So those Chinese takeaway pots and the lids apparently are no longer allowed. I don't know what the penalties are, but there you go. There's this week's news update. There was some terrible bus crash and a load of other bad things as well. But I tend to focus on the small and absurd generally. Otherwise, you go mad, really. Yeah. So yeah. I'm sure there was a load of other stuff that I looked at on the news and went, oh, that's terrible, and then didn't really think I could do anything about personally. But it all gone. So you know. On we go. Right, so yeah, there's buildings over there are some sort of little small marina and boatyard. I think the Beagle's in the mud the other side of that bit, so I'll have a proper look at that. Although don't get your hopes up, because I mean, from what I read in the Wikipedia article, there's only like archaeological evidence it's there. There's not like a massive 1800s steam clipper wedged in the mud there. Probably won't even be anything we can actually look at, but let's go and have a look anyway. Let's go see. Not sure if that's abandoned or just in really bad nick. Doors open to the elements. Yeah, I've just seen a bird fly out of it. Doors smashed off. I mean, what are my marine salvage rights in regard to this vessel? The mast looks reasonably solid. It's got the. Is it sheets? They call ropes sheets, don't they? I don't know. All the cables look all right. Don't know what's that hull like. Plus, does the tide even get this high? I mean, that looks like pretty much like high tide right now. I don't think. Not sure how you'd even float it out of here. It's tied to something though. I don't know. Can't even read a name on the back. It's got a foot plate for a rudder, but no actual rudder. Alright. Yeah. Could this be the boat of my dreams? It's a bit of fixer-upper. Would anyone know if I stealed it? More importantly, how can I practically steal it? I don't even have like a sack barrow, you know. Thwarted again. Yeah. Dinky middle of nowhere boatyard. Quite busy though. People coming up and down, getting kayaks out and stuff. Slipway the other side of that thing. There's moorings in the middle. It's deeper here, I suppose. It generally doesn't go low tide enough to sink to push that lot onto the mud, I think. Some seriously off-grid living as well. Sort of a house, I suppose. Sort of a boat. Much of neither. Sort of pumping station there, water outflow thing, don't know. It's got a go away fence around a small bit of ground there. And then on to the flatlands, windmills and distance. I think that might be Burnham and Crouch actually on the horizon. I mean, linearly it's not that far away, but we've got a lot of there and back again to do on the end. Where's that Wallasea? It might be, I don't know, we'll see. Find out when we get there, I suppose. Just keep walking. Well, I don't know. I mean, according to the grid reference attached to the Wikipedia article about HMS Beagle, its final resting place is somewhere around here. I don't know what this compound is. It's got leftover wharf jetty parts covered in moss. I don't think that's it. Some sort of building. Maybe archaeology was done here. I mean, that's not it. That's something much more recent, rotting away. Quite sure they're the engine house or deck house of something else, crane or something maybe. Yeah, this looks like it was a series of parallel jetties for some small vessels. A long time ago though, probably Second World War maybe earlier. It's all fenced off for reasons. Not seeing any signs though. It's a shame. I'd have thought such an important vessel would have more of a legacy. Well, apart from, you know, revolutionising the field of biology and history, paving the way for genetics, etc. Yeah, don't know. It has the look of a ruin, but maybe not a relevant ruin to what I'm talking about. Let's put a load of coloured string on that one. Right. Yeah, that's definitely. Is that the? Yeah, it looks like the turning for. Oh, hang on, which turning am I at now? Does that go out to sea? Is that between Potton Island and Foulness, or is that just? I have to look up where I am. I've done it again. Ah, yeah, no, so that over there is the junction to the river in the corner where I was going to camp. So that there must be Potton Island. So there, is that the channel between Potton Island and Foulness Island? Maybe. I'll have to check. I'll carry on round. See where we end up. Okay, so I might be turning left sooner than I thought. So I don't get to go to Foulness Island. That's a bad idea. Yes, the largest town or village over there, I think that might be Burnham on Crouch. We've got the whole of Wallasea Island in between here and there. Is that the marina on Wallasea? Maybe. I need to look at a map and just stop guessing and telling you made up shit. Back again soon. No, okay, so this here is the channel going to the left is the channel between Paglesham and East End and Wallasea Island. Wallasea Island being the far side of that. So that is the channel between Wallasea and Foulness. I need to do the entire loop of Wallasea as a separate stage. That'll be next week. Quite a short one, only about 8 miles in total. And then ferry across to there, which is Burnham on Crouch, and that's where we start the remaining bit, which then goes off to the sea proper, over there somewhere. Okay, good. I kind of know what I'm doing now. Good. So I'm going to choose to believe that is the engine house of HMS Beagle, but I don't think they had that kind of cast iron technology in the 1800s. No, I think Beagle is just gone, you know, rotted. The article I read talks about finding stuff 15 metres down in the mud, so I think, I don't know when it was abandoned here. The ship was built in 1817, but then it had a couple of tours of duty and before the Galapagos voyage with Darwin. And then it did some stuff after that as well before reaching the end of its life, and then it got just dragged up here and dumped. I mean, these here almost certainly are not Beagle, but they show what happens, you know. Once your boat's out no longer of use to anyone, they just drag it up a muddy estuary somewhere and abandon it. I'm not sure you get away with that these days. Like a big luxury ocean liner just left to rot on the side of the Essex tributary. They tend to be dismantled for scrap properly in proper dry docks and stuff these days. Yeah, a forlorn ending for a storied vessel somewhere under that mud, I guess. Right, so there's a bunch of people stood on the end there looking, gawping about. I may just sit down right here and have a drink. I've completely lost all fear of adders now. It's too cold and windy for them, I expect. Yeah, so basically where those people are, we turn immediately left and start walking along the interior of this field edge on the bank. We're basically aiming for a road bridge up that way somewhere that goes up onto Wallasea Island, which is the other side of that creek there. It's a right nightmare of in and out and coastal margins, but it all needs to be done, so that's okay. Anyway, when I get to the bridge over there, obviously I'll take you there and show you, obviously, if we wait longer, but once we get there I'll probably sign off, and then I've got to walk back to Rochford, which is pretty much the same sort of distance to here already, another 2 or 3 hours along country lanes and stuff, and then get the car and go home. And that'll be that much closer to Minehead again. This is what it's all about. That's it. I have a burning, desperate need to see the Somerset coastal town of Minehead one more time. Actually, I often find myself at a loose end on New Year's Eve, and I go and celebrate on my own by driving down there and standing on the sea wall and watching the fireworks in Barry and Cardiff. There you go, a little tragic window into my non-hiking life. So yeah, I'm in Minehead every now and then, just to remind myself what it looks like. But yes, getting there the long way around, that's the key. Alright, sails up, off we go, seaside adventure. Yeah. Good. Okay, another one of these. Yeah, very large group of very slow dog walkers. quickly going away. Oh, is there people following me now? I don't know. It's all gotten very busy along here. I mean, it was all basset hounds, you know, not very aggressive, just a bit slow still. Right, so I turn left here. So this goes up to a channel that separates the mainland from Wallasea Island, which is that. And that is basically just a big old bird sanctuary, series of lagoons and stuff, which I shall have to circumnavigate as well before moving across to civilization over there. I can't tell who's coming and going along there now. It's a little bit zigzaggy. Get one of those yomps on where I'm afraid to get caught up or overtaken by people. Get a lot of ground covered like that, but it does wear me out. So yeah. Oh, other news. Yes, I didn't remember now. There was some other news I was talking about. News. Someone cut down the sycamore gap tree. The sycamore in the sycamore gap. It's famous for being in Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. Essentially, it's a very tall, 300-year-old sycamore. Is it? That might actually be an oak. I think it's a sycamore. Otherwise, why call it sycamore gap? Anyway, very distinctive tree. Seeing a lot of stuff between two quite steep earthworky hills, which make part of Hadrian's Wall, which I would have been walking past, I suppose. You know, in about 6 to 8 years' time, obviously. But yeah, I was going to see that. My big plan to cut across to the Lake District once I get to Berwick. So yeah, denied that privilege. Just get to see the stump, and there's all sorts of campaigns in place to replace it with another tree and so on. Brian Blessed is on board as well, so that'll help. But yeah, just mindless vandalism. I think a 16-year-old kid was released on bail, but I think they've pulled in a 60-year-old man as well now in connection with the heinous act of vandalism of a national treasure. So yeah, this is why we can't have nice things. I won't get to see that now. I was looking forward to that part. That was going to be the high point of my Hadrian's Way trip. Should have been a separate camping week between Northumberland and Carlisle, I suppose, on the east to west coasts. Only about 80 miles across at that point, the United Kingdom, so good way to cut across there. That's probably why they built the wall where they did. It's just the shortest possible bit of wall they could build. Yeah, there's people are coming up behind me. Well, they can eat my dust. I get quite a pace going when I've got my mind to it. Oh, another salvage job. That one doesn't have a mast though, or much else. It's littering really, isn't it? Take that back to, put that in the proper bin. Is that plastics or cardboard? Probably plastics. So yes, cutting down trees, bad. There we go. So this now will follow this channel along, up sort of northwards, in fact northwesterly in fact. Eventually it'll zigzag in and out a bit, and eventually it'll end up in by a road bridge over the channel. I think the channel sort of becomes a marshy bed, a salt marsh bit, and then there's a road that cuts across it, and that'll be the end of my day, really. So it'll be quite a short one as far as you're concerned, dear viewer, but I then have to walk about 5 miles back to the car, I think. Well, that's okay. That'll be along little country lanes. Won't be much to report, I shouldn't think, but there might be a pub or two along the way, because I'm missing the lemonade. Thought about bringing lemonade and ice with me, but it's just going to melt and then get fizzy and get shaken up and explode when I open it. So water it is. Yeah. It's one of the nice things about this flat landscape is you can see where you're going to be for some days ahead. So yeah, there's the village of Burnham on Crouch. We'll be seeing a lot of that, I think, in the next couple of weeks. My original plan was to, well, come along here, then go around that entire island, kip somewhere on the far end of that island, come back in the morning, get the ferry across to Burnham. There's like a little marina this side. I think that might be what those masts are. But do I dare zoom? You can get the idea there. There's a little phone this mobile number for a lift type ferry that takes you across. That doesn't run on Mondays, which meant I had to stagger and try and plan the whole week, but academic now because I can just finish Wallasea in one go and then come back with a car and park it in Burnham, do the next bit. Yeah, good. Making headway, although it is a lot of zigzagging. God damn it, there's another one. There's a ditch in between as well, a river thing. I'll try and get to it. For God's sake, people, just put them in the bin. You know, when the party's over, just pop them gently and fold them up and put them in a bin. Just let them go off into the sky, because they come down in the Thames estuary on edges, as I've discovered. Or, you know, put them in a cupboard and save them for the next birthday. That's the cost of living way to do it. Right, well, I'm on the lower section. Decided to come off the top because, not because of snakes particularly, but it's just a bit overgrown and heavy going, and why when there's this that goes exactly the same way. Can see the river any time, I'm sure. I might go up at the end and have a look on top. But yeah, just tracking the edge really, getting the miles in, going places in my head. So what I'm looking at there is this barn. I guess I'll have to go on top to have a look. Yeah, didn't think that through, did I? No. There we go, up on top, see where we're going again. So that's all Wallasea Island over there. Is that how you pronounce it? I don't know, I'm renowned for my mispronunciation. And at very high tide. Proper, doesn't get much higher tide, I think. It's a peaceful, tranquil, bit murky. Yeah, so that over there with the cranes must be the shipyard from where the ferry goes to Burnham, which is houses in the background. This barn and thing are on Wallasea. The white van going along to the bird sanctuary car park, I think. Yeah, not far to go. It's like a caravan site the other side of the barns there, I think. Yeah, I just need to go around this loop and then I'm at the Landwood Bridge onto the place. Not far to go now today, well, for you guys anyway. Not that much further to get back to the car really. It's an afternoon of trudging along country lanes. Yeah, the lack of public transport options on a Sunday in these parts does mean that you're in for a lot of very short trips now as I seek to recover from my missed camping week. It's all going to be half days of actual progress and then half days of me just stumping back to the car. It's okay. Gets it done. Yeah. It's making me thirsty. Fortunately, I have water. Hurrah! Yeah, I was yomping along down there. Didn't notice this river had turned into a marsh. So we just go around the end here and back up the other side, I think, and then just round the corner a little bit, and I think the road bridge onto Wallasea Island is there. You can see that tree, centre shot near ground, not the ones on the far horizon. I think that is the far end of the little bridge that goes onto the island. So it's basically where I need to get to today, and then a lot of inland tracking along country lanes. Yeah, doing well. And is that just coming up on 1 o'clock? We'll be done by 4 today. Good. Yeah, not enough of a day to go and do the rest of the... I mean, Wallasea Island itself is about 8 miles all round, so 8 to 10 or so. So I'm going to do that as its own Sunday trip. Yeah, and then over to the far side and beyond. Yeah, I wonder about those clouds. I mean, it said there was going to be no rain, but it's certainly looking quite grey. Probably there's rain at home, but maybe just on this corner of the coast it's a bit different. Right, good, keep it going. Here we go. A bit of causeway. There are parked cars there. Now that looks promising because at some point, well, basically next week, where they're permitting, I'm going to have to come here and just basically walk around this entire island up ahead. So I'll need a starting and stopping point. Somewhere to reasonably leave the car, and this looks like this is what people do here. I'll have a look. See how big that is. If I get here early enough, maybe I can bag a spot. Although the marina over there does seem to have a cafe and public car park for people visiting it, because it's where the ferry goes from as well, so maybe that might be a better jumping off point. Don't know, we'll see. Next week's problem, I suppose. But yes, this does look like the road onto the place. Seeing it from Google Space View. A couple of people parked up, yeah. Seen quite a few like small hides out on the marshes as well, like bird hides, watching birds with. Yeah, I'm not much of a photographer, as you'll know, not much of a cameraman, but I may have a go at trying to capture some proper bird-like, wildlife type stuff next time, because that's a huge bird sanctuary out there, which I shall now no longer be sleeping in. To the relief of all the birds, I imagine, and slightly my relief as well. Yeah. Anyway, so it looks like this is where I go now. I think I go on there next, but not now, not today. Blimey, that's very high tide. Look at that. This road, I suppose this road might get inundated in very high weather, very high tides. Yeah, look, right up to the edge. Can't go much higher than this, surely. I guess spring tides and whatever must actually wash over it. God, seriously. Roadside Nature Reserve, Managed for Wildlife. Okay, just basically don't get that big massive hedge cutter in here then. Right, well, this is where I stop for today. Well, where you stop for today anyway. I shall be back here. Probably trying to park here. Doesn't look very big though, 3 cars maybe. Bit of room over there. I'll try for the boatyard probably next time. But yeah, I shall be here next time to explore Wallasea Island, do a circuit of that. And then I guess we pick up at Burnham next time, although I did see a sign with an acorn pointing that way for Hullbridge 10. The problem is if I go that way without crossing the river, like I was planning to do on the ferry, it's about a day that way and a day back again. So I was always planning to cut across and use this ferry, but if there's an actual England Coast Path set of signs going to the end of that river, South Woodham Ferrers or something, then I may be compelled to use it. I don't know, I'll have to have a look when I'll investigate as I walk back to the car. But anyway, I'm going to sign off for today. See you again soon. Well, bloody hell. They do want me to go to South Woodham Ferrers. That's going to be another 3 days probably. Oh well, problem for another time. Wallasea next. I didn't discover that halfway through my backpack week.